Morning, everybody. I welcome everybody here. Thanks again for coming out and being with us on this auspicious occasion. It's going to be an exciting year. I can't wait to get started with that. But before we do so, I'm going to have everybody rise and we'll have an invocation before we get started.
Please bow your heads. Great architect of the universe, we thank you for your continued blessings, blessings that you have poured upon Rosenberg Lodge 881. We ask for continued blessing for the 120th year of this fine lodge, and we give you thanks for blessing us with John Bradley and First Lady Lydia. And we now focus our attention and ask for your blessings for Worshipful Master Kenny Meyer and his First Lady Janet as they lead this lodge through this Masonic year. And in your precious name we pray. Amen.
Please remain standing. I'm going to have Fort Bend Commandery present colors and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Commander, forward, march. By the left flank, march. Commandery, halt. Right, face. Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to the flag of our beloved country. It is always displayed in the east of every Masonic lodge, where it is accorded the position of highest honor. It is a constant inspiration to every lover of his country, to every true patriot of America. It demands unswerving loyalty and wholehearted devotion to the principles of which it is the glorious representative. It is the majestic symbol of freedom under constitutional government. Beneath its protecting folds, liberty, equality, and fraternity have become the heritage of every citizen, while the oppressed of many nations have found peace and happiness in the land over which it floats. The flags of mighty empires have come and gone, but the stars and stripes remain. Alone of all flags, it expresses the sovereignty of the people, which endures when all else passes away. Speaking with their voice, it has the sanctity of revelation. He who lives under it and is loyal to it is loyal to truth and justice everywhere. So long as it flies, government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our great state. Honor
the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Standard Guard, return the flags to their stations in the east. Sir Knights, carry swords. About face. Ladies and gentlemen, Fort Bend Commandery number 74 thanks you for the opportunity this morning. Directly to my right, we have Past Commander Joe Johnson. And to his right, Past Commander Everett Hyden. My name is David Burnt, Past Commander of Fort Bend Commandery number 74. Thank you. Commander, dismissed.
We'll just give you that. ladies and gentlemen, brothers, here today. There's a lot to do in Masonry. There's a lot of charity work that Masonry performs throughout the year. A lot of fundraising. Never seen so much fundraising in my life in the last few years. But all this goes to a good cause. It goes to our scholarship program that we put on here, which, you know, helps our students out. And, you know, the students are our future. So Masonry pretty much invented or started education in Texas many years ago. And we honor that, and we're very proud to keep that going as much as we can. So a lot of these guys are changing clothes to come back in here, because one of them is going to be an officer in this lodge, so we have to leave. But in the process, I'll introduce installing master, which is Brother Albert Davis, past master. Where's he at?
Over here, Rod.
Oh, there he is. Usually sitting here. And then our installing marshal, Brother William Bill Smith, past master. Was a junior past master, but now he's a past master. What's master? We call him Master Davis. You want to come up and say a few words? Cause I'll ramble on forever.
Ready, worship.
Okay.
You're still wearing the hat.
You still got the hat.
Oh, I still got the head, well, I'll give it to you. But anyway, I'll keep talking a little bit. I know you don't like to hear me. If nothing else, I'm pretty fun to listen to, but nobody knows where I'm from. So, anyway, so many of you never been inside a lodge. Masonry is about symbolism, but it's about truth and honoring, you know, your neighbor and helping your neighbor out. That's what charity's about. It means something different to each individual person, but when it all comes down to it, we all want the same thing, and that's to better mankind, better ourselves, either for a family life, personal life, whether it be in the workplace, wherever it might be, just in general, to make ourselves a better person. And by doing so, we can make other people better for themselves. There's a lot of lessons learned, a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of ethnicity background, and it's interesting to learn from one another. There's so many different things out there that you'll never know unless you ask. So one thing we're not afraid to do is ask questions. So I think that's about it. I'm running out of speed. Come on. Ladies and gentlemen, past master, Albert Davis. Now you can get off. You're almost in my seat.
Better get what I'm reading a little bit closer to my eyeballs here. Alright, let's see. Brother Smith, if you would herd the cats and all the officers to be installed, if you would please excuse yourselves while Brother Smith's gonna line you up outside, make sure that everybody's got your correct aprons on, and we're gonna get ready to get the show on the road. Everybody get enough tacos this morning? I think there's a bunch of tacos left over. I'm sure Kenny would appreciate it if you took a goodie bag home with you for tomorrow morning, or this afternoon, or midnight snack, whenever you like to have your leftover tacos. least the AC's working in here. We went to El Campo a couple of Saturdays ago and helped them do 2 Master Mason's degrees on a Saturday morning. And they had no air conditioner in the building that did not work at all. It had to have been 85 degrees in there, and everybody's got on a suit and a hat and all that. And, oh my God, it was horrible.
I think we'd have changed the feature
It was bad. It was tough. Should have just said, let's do a courtesy, come over to Rosenberg.
That's right. Everybody get on the bus.
God, it's bad. Turn the fans on, they just blow hot air around. Get them all straightened out, Brother Bill. I guess everybody can hear me okay? This working, do I need to move it closer to me like that? Or good enough? All right, here we go. Brother Marshall, you will call the roll of officers to be installed.
Meyer. Raul Rubalcaba. Eric Bean, past master. Christopher Choate, past master. Carter Scarborough, past master. Right Worshipful Cody Cockrell, past master. Jason Vance. Raymond Torres. John Bradley, soon to be junior past master.
Like this,
Mark Brandt. Scott Wright.
Brother Smith. Okay, ladies, gentlemen, friends, honored guests, and my brother and all. I would like to express my personal appreciation for the honor bestowed upon me by Brother Meyer, Worshipful Master-elect, in being selected as the installing officer for his installation. It is an honor that comes rarely in the life of any man, and I am deeply honored and humbled by his choice. Before we begin the ceremony of installation, I would like to take this opportunity to make a few remarks about Freemasonry. It is probable that some of you are in a Masonic Lodge room for the first time, and if so, many of the things you see here may be strange to you. But let me assure you that everything in this room outside of the ordinary furniture, such as the chairs and desks, has a deep significance and meaning to Freemasons. There are several things which I wish you to particularly notice. The first is the altar and the Holy Bible opened upon it. There is an altar in every Masonic Lodge room, and when the lodge is opened and conducting business, the book of our faith is opened upon it. No lodge can transact business of any nature unless the Bible lies upon its altar. From the altar it pours forth its white light and in inspirational vision, moral law, and immortal hope. By the very honor that Masonry pays to the Bible, we are taught to respect every book of faith in which men find help for today and hope for tomorrow. It is a constant reminder of the presence in our meetings of the Supreme Architect of the universe, and tells you of our desire and belief that everything we do here should be acceptable in His sight. The second thing that I want to draw your attention is that every Mason present is wearing a white apron. It is said to have come from the wearing of a leather apron by our ancient brethren who were in actual fact builders or stonemasons. To modern Masons, the white apron is a symbol of innocence and the badge of a Mason. It is a symbol of that purity of heart and uprightness of conduct that are essentially necessary to gain admission into the celestial lodge above that all of us strive to achieve. The third thing, and it probably has already attracted your attention, is the hat or covering worn by the Worshipful Master, or the presiding officer. This is a very old custom, and there are several reasons given for the custom. One is that it came from the custom of King Solomon, who is said to have been one of our three ancient Grand Masters, to always wear his crown when presiding over the craft. Another logical interpretation is that it is not so much that the master has his hat on, but that every other Mason has his hat off as a mark of respect, not necessarily to the man in the office, but to the office itself. It is worthy of note that no other organization in the world gives to its presiding officer the almost absolute power that is vested in the master of a Masonic Lodge. The fourth thing that you will notice is that during the installation ceremony, each officer will be invested with the jewel of his office. These jewels are symbolic replicas of actual working tools used by builders or stonemasons. You may have already noticed that a facsimile of these jewels is imprinted on the apron of each officer. This practice allows easy visual determination of an officer by looking at the symbol on his apron. Each teaches a valuable lesson about the conduct of a man and his relationship to the Supreme Being, his family, his neighbor, and himself. As the ceremony progresses, you will hear some of the meaning behind the uses of these symbols. The last thing that I would like to point out is the use of the word worshipful. During the ceremony, you will notice that we address certain brothers by titles like worshipful, right worshipful, and possibly even most worshipful. Webster defines worshipful as notable, distinguished, used as a title for various persons of rank or distinction. Offices in the Masonic fraternity are very demanding and completely voluntary. Thus, we honor the master of the lodge with the title of Worshipful Master. Officers of the Grand Lodge of Texas are honored with titles of Worshipful or Right Worshipful, and the Grand Master, being the highest ranking officer in the Grand Lodge, has the title of Most Worshipful. It should be noted that these titles are marks of respect for the office and the person filling the office, and in no way indicate worship of a person. Worship for all Masons is reserved for one Supreme Being. So these good men seated before you have been chosen by their brethren to fill posts of leadership in this lodge, and each has freely accepted the opportunity to serve their lodge and community. This age-old ritual is performed. As this age-old ritual is performed, I beg that you will give it your close attention. I assure you that this ritual is not just a string of meaningless words and phrases. Its language has the deepest meaning and significance to Freemasons. It might sound like I'm just rambling on, but these guys are what I'm talking about. Okay. We ready, Brother Marshall?
Yes, Worshipful Master.
Let's get the show on the road. Brother Marshall, you will present the officers to be installed.
The officers to be installed will please arrive. Worshipful Master, I present the officers, elected and appointed, of Rosenberg Lodge number 881 to be installed. I believe each of them to be well qualified to discharge the duties of their office, and each of them has signified their willingness to accept the same. I therefore ask that they be duly and constitutionally installed in their respective offices.
Brother Marshall, you will present the Worshipful Master-elect for installation. The remaining officers may be seated. About to get real.
Yes, sir.
Worshipful Sir and Brother Meyer, I take pleasure in installing you into this honorable office with the usual ceremonies, but previous to being invested with the insignia of your office, it is necessary that you should signify your assent to those ancient charges and regulations which point out the duty of the Master of the Lodge. There's several of them, so you can wait till the end. You agree to be a good man and true, strictly to obey the moral law. You agree to be a peaceable citizen and cheerfully to conform to the laws of the country in which you reside. You promise not to be concerned in plots and conspiracies against government, but patiently to submit to the decisions of the Supreme Legislature. You agree to pay a proper respect to the civil magistrate, to work diligently, live creditably, and act honorably by all men. You agree to hold in veneration the original rulers and patrons of the Order of Masonry and their regular successors, supreme and subordinate, according to their stations, and to submit to the awards and resolutions of your brethren when convened, in every case consistent with the constitutions of the Order. You agree to avoid private piques and quarrels, and to guard against intemperance and excess. You agree to be cautious in carriage and behavior, courteous to your brethren, and faithful to your lodge. You promise to respect genuine brethren and to discountenance impostors and all dissenters from the original plan of Masonry. You agree to promote the general good of society, to cultivate the social virtues, and to propagate the knowledge of the art. You promise to pay homage to the Grand Master for the time being, and to his officers when duly installed, and strictly to conform to every edict of the Grand Lodge or General Assembly of Masons that is not subversive to the principles and groundworks of Masonry. You admit that it is not in the power of any man or body of men to make innovations in the body of Masonry. You promise a regular attendance on the committees and communications of the Grand Lodge on receiving proper notice, and to pay attention to all duties of Masonry on convenient occasions. You admit that no new lodge shall be formed without permission of the Grand Lodge, and that no countenance be given to any irregular lodge or to any person clandestinely initiated therein, being contrary to the ancient charges of the Order. You admit that no person can be regularly made a Mason in, or admitted a member of, any regular lodge without previous notice and due inquiry into his character. You agree that no visitor shall be received into your lodge without due examination and producing proper vouchers of their having been initiated in a regular lodge. These are the regulations of free and accepted Masons. Do you submit to these charges and promise to support these regulations as masters have done in all ages before you? Brother Meyer, in consequence of your cheerful conformity to the charges and regulations of the Order, you are now to be installed Master of this Lodge, in full confidence of your care, skill, and capacity to govern the same. Brother Marshall, you will invest the Worshipful Master with the insignia of his office, which is the square. How's that feel? the profession are emblematical of our conduct in life, and upon this occasion are carefully enumerated. The Holy Writings, that great light in Masonry, will guide you to all truth. It will direct your path to the temple of happiness and point out to you the whole duty of man. The Square teaches us to regulate our actions by rule and line, and to harmonize our conduct by the principles of morality and truth. Morality and virtue, pardon me. The Compasses teach us to limit our desires in every station, that rising to eminence by merit, we may live respected and die regretted. The Rule directs that we shall punctually observe our duty, press forward in the path of virtue, and neither inclining to the right nor to the left in all our actions, have eternity in view. The Line teaches us the criterion of moral rectitude, to avoid dissimulation in conversation and action, and to direct our steps to the path which leads to immortality. The Book of Constitutions, you are to search at all times, cause it to be read in your lodge, that none may pretend to ignorance of the excellent precepts it enjoins. You now receive in charge the charter, by the authority of which this lodge is held. You are carefully to preserve and duly transmit it to your successor in office. Lastly, you receive in charge the bylaws of your lodge, which you are to see carefully and punctually executed. Brother Marshall, you will seat the Worshipful Master and present the Senior Warden-elect for installation. Brother Marshall, you will invest the Senior Warden with the insignia of his office, which is the level. Brother Rubalcaba, the level demonstrates that we are descended from the same stock, partake of the same nature, and share the same hope. And though distinctions among men are necessary to preserve subordination, yet no eminence of station should make us forget that we are brethren. For he who is placed on the lowest spoke of fortune's wheel may be entitled to our regard, because the time will come, and the wisest knows not how soon, when all distinction, but that goodness, shall cease, and death, the grand leveler of human greatness, reduce us to the same state. Your regular attendance on our stated meetings is essentially necessary. In the absence of the Master, you are to govern this lodge. In his presence, you are to assist him in the government of it. I firmly rely on your knowledge of Masonry and attachment to the lodge for the faithful discharge of the duties of this important trust. Look well to the west. Brother Marshall, you will seat the Senior Warden and present the Junior Warden-elect for installation. Brother Marshall, you will invest the Junior Warden with the insignia of his office, which is the plum. Brother Bean, the plum admonishes us to walk uprightly in our several stations, to hold the scale of justice in equal poise, to observe at the just medium between intemperance and pleasure, and to make our passions and prejudices coincide with our line of duty. To you is committed the superintendence of the craft during the hours of refreshment. It is therefore indispensably necessary that you should not only be intemperate and discreet in the indulgence of your own inclinations, but carefully observe that none of the craft be suffered to convert the means of refreshment into intemperance and excess. Brother Marshall, you will seat the junior warden and present the treasurer-elect for installation. Brother Marshall, you will invest the treasurer with the insignia of his office, which is the crossed keys. You should just get you your own personalized set of crossed keys. Just carry it from lodge to lodge with you. Brother Choate, it is your duty to receive all monies from the secretary, make due entries thereof, and pay them out by order of the Worshipful Master and the consent of the lodge. I trust your regard for the welfare of the order will prompt you to a faithful discharge of your duties. Brother Marshall, you will seat the treasurer in his place and present the secretary-elect for installation. Brother Marshall, you will invest the secretary with the insignia of his office, which is the crossed quills. After only 9 short years, we have a new secretary. Brother Charbrough, it is your duty to carefully observe all the proceedings of the lodge, make a correct record of all things proper to be written, receive all monies due the lodge, and pay them over to the treasurer, taking his receipt for the same. I trust your good wishes for the welfare of this lodge will prompt you to a discharge of the duties of your office with fidelity, and by doing so, you will merit the esteem and applause of your brethren. Brother Marshall, you will seat the secretary in his place and present the chaplain for installation. I hope it's a comfortable chair, Brother Charlotte. Brother Marshall, you will invest the chaplain with the insignia of his office, which is the open Holy Bible. Brother Cockrell, Right Worshipful Cockrell, it is your duty to perform those solemn services which we should constantly render to our Creator, and which, when offered by one whose example is to point to heaven and lead the way, may, by refining our souls, strengthen our virtues, and purifying our minds, prepare us for admission into the society of those above, where happiness will be as endless as it is perfect. Brother Marshall, you will seat the chaplain in his place and present the senior and junior deacons for installation. Brother Marshall, you will invest the deacons with the badges of their offices, which are the square and compasses. Brothers Vance and Torres, It is your province to attend on the master and wardens and to act as their proxies in the active duties of the lodge, such as the reception of candidates into the different degrees of masonry, the introduction and accommodation of visitors, and the immediate practice of our rites. The square and compasses as badges of your office I entrust to your care, not doubting your vigilance and attention. Brother Marshall, you will seat the deacons in their respective places and present the senior steward for installation. Oh, sorry. Who's next? Present the marshal for installation. Marshal and master of ceremonies. So I forgot to make a correction here when our senior steward didn't come this morning. We'll install him later.
You can do yourself.
Yeah, you can do it yourself.
We'll install the steward later. Myself and Brother Black, I hope you like beanie weenies and fried spam.
Oh, yeah. Throw some peas and carrots in there.
Keep it under budget, that's right.
Right. You want both or just?
Both. Brothers Bradley and Brandt. It is your duty to assist back up. Brother Marshall, you will invest the Marshal and Master of Ceremonies with the insignias of their offices, which are the cross batons and cross swords. Make a little joke and then get off script. Brothers Bradley and Brandt, it is your duty to assist the senior deacon in preparing candidates for initiation and to see that the needs of the candidate are provided, such as the candidate information program, ritualistic instruction, Masonic education, and information concerning the customs and usages of masonry. Brother Marshall, you will seat the Marshal and Master of Ceremonies in their respective places and present the Tyler for installation. So for about 3 hours, you get to not be worshipful masters.
Already cooler up here.
Brother Marshall, you will invest the Tyler with the insignia of his office, which is the sword. Brother Wright, I present you with the implement of your office. As the sword is placed in the hands of the Tyler, to enable him to effectually to guard against the approach of cowens and eavesdroppers and permit none to pass except those who are duly qualified. So should it admonish us to set a guard over our thoughts, a watch at our lips, post a sentinel over our actions, thereby preventing the approach of every unworthy thought and deed, thus preserving consciences void of offense toward God and man. Brother Marshall, you will seat the Tyler in his place and present the Worshipful Master for the charge. Worshipful Sir and Brother Meyer, to your care is committed the charter of this lodge and the government of the brethren who compose the same and are within the jurisdiction of said lodge. You cannot be insensible of the obligations which devolve on your head, nor of your responsibility for the faithful discharge of the important duties annexed to said station. The honor, reputation, and usefulness of your lodge will materially depend on the skills and assiduity in which you manage its concerns, while the happiness of its members will be generally promoted in proportion to the zeal and ability with which you propagate the genuine principles of our institution. For a pattern of imitation, consider the great luminary of nature, which, rising in the east, regularly diffuses light and luster to all within its circle. In like manner, it is your providence to spread and communicate light and instruction to the brethren of your lodge. Forcibly impress upon them the dignity and high importance of Masonry, and seriously admonish them never to disgrace it. Charge them to practice out of the lodge those duties which they have been taught in it, and by amiable and discreet and virtuous conduct to convince mankind of the goodness of the institution, so that when a person is said to be a member of it, the world may know that he is one to whom the burdened heart may pour out its sorrows, to whom distresses may prefer its suit, whose hand is guided by justice, and whose heart is expanded by benevolence. In short, by a diligent observation of the bylaws of your lodge, the Constitution of Masonry, and above all, the Holy Scriptures, which are given as a rule and guide to your faith, you will be enabled to acquit yourself with honor and reputation, and lay upon a crown of rejoicing which shall continue when time shall be no more. Brother Marshal, you will seat the Worshipful Master in the east and present the wardens for the charge. Warm up here, isn't it?
I can feel the heat already.
Brothers Rubalcaba and Bean, you are too well acquainted with the principles of Masonry to warrant any distrust that you will be found wanting in the discharge of your respective duties. Suffice it to say that what you have seen praiseworthy in others, you should carefully imitate, and what in them may have appeared defective, you should in yourselves amend. You should be examples of good order and regularity, for it is only by a due regard to the laws in your own conduct that you can expect obedience to them from others. You are to assist the Master in the discharge of his trust, diffusing light and imparting knowledge to all whom he shall place in your care. In the absence of the Master, you will succeed to higher duties. Your acquirements must therefore be such that the craft may never suffer for the want of proper instruction. From the spirit which you have hitherto evinced, I entertain no doubt that your future conduct will be such to merit the applause of your brethren and the testimony of a good conscience. Brother Marshal, you will seat the wardens in their respective stations. The members of this lodge will please rise. Brethren, such is the nature of our Constitution that some must of necessity rule and teach, while others must of course learn to submit and obey. Humility in both is an essential duty. The officers who are elected and appointed to govern your lodge are sufficiently conversant with the rules of propriety and the laws of Masonic order to avoid exceeding the powers which they are entrusted, and you are of too generous disposition to envy their preferment. I therefore trust that you will have but one aim, and that will be to try and please each other and unite in the grand design of being happy and communicating happiness. Finally, my brethren, as the business of this lodge has been conducted in peace and harmony, so may it long continue. May you and your associates long enjoy every satisfaction and delight which disinterested friendship can afford. May kindness and brotherly affection distinguish your conduct as men and as Masons. Within your peaceful walls, may your children's children celebrate with joy and gratitude the annual recurrence of this auspicious solemnity. And may the tenets of our profession be transmitted through your lodge, pure and unimpaired from generation to generation. Brother Marshall, you will proclaim the installation. The audience will please rise.
And in the name and by the authority of the Grand Lodge of Texas, I proclaim the officers of Rosenberg Lodge number 881, ancient, free and accepted Masons, duly and constitutionally installed.
Worshipful Master. I'm going to take my hat off. You put your hat on. I'll hand this dog and pony show over to you. One thing for you, Worshipful Master. A while back, you handed me a partially completed gavel that I believe you told me your uncle had started on several years ago. I did my best to complete it for you, and I hope you like it, and I hope you will use it with all the authority and wisdom and guidance that we know that you have, and that you're going to do a great job for this lodge. We've been looking forward to your year in the East for a long time. I know you're going to do a good job because you want to do a good job, and we're here to help you. And Worshipful Master, your gavel.
Thank you. Good gavel.
Out of your way. You can see the lodge.
Hang on a minute. I really thank everybody for being here. And I did this for my dad. I promise you that I finish up what I started years ago. I'm a big baby, I'm sorry. I'm an emotional person. Alright, I want to pull myself together and thank all my family for being here. My wife especially, for all the time she has to be at home alone. And then my kids, their kids, and their husbands. Appreciate y'all all. Brother Rubicava, do you have somebody you'd like to thank, introduce?
Just want to thank my wife for being here today and all the visitors here.
I'm gonna set everybody down. let's start on my right and let, people introduce, their families that are here.
Worshipful Master, Wardens and Brethren, I am still Cody Matthew Cockcroft, and I represent myself. Thank you for having me, sir.
Yes.
Worshipful Master, my name is Chris Choate. It's an honor and privilege to be a part of your team this year. Nobody has worked harder than you to get to where you're at, and I want you to know you've surrounded yourself with a great officer team. We got your back, and it's going to be a great year. I'm looking forward to it. With me today is my wife, Rebecca, who has joined me. She's not going to be able to. I have 3 installations to go through today. I asked her to be at this one this morning. Rosenberg Lodge is a very special lodge to me. I love being a Mason. As you said, our wives make a lot of sacrifices for us to be involved. Rebecca also spends a lot of time alone as I'm out doing my things, and so I just appreciate you, Rebecca. And again, thank you for the trust, the trust that you guys put into me, and I will work hard to do y'all a great job.
Worshipful Master, I am here representing myself as well, but I'm glad to be with all my brothers, and I am so proud and happy to serve with you on your team this year as well. So thank you, I look forward to it.
Worshipful Master, Mark Brandt, my family's thousands of miles from here, but I'm surrounded by my brothers that are wearing white aprons. And I appreciate, you asking me to be here. Thank you.
Worshipful Master, I'm Raul Rubalcaba, and I introduce my wife, Linda, and I thank her for being here. Thank you.
Worshipful Master, my beautiful wife Renee, here to support me and support you as well. Congratulations to you, and my friend Akarat as well.
Worshipful Master, I'm Scott Wright. I'm here representing 881 and looking at my family. Thank you, guys.
Worshipful Master, I am joined by my lovely and beautiful wife, and most importantly, patient wife at that. So, thank you very much.
Worshipful Master, I am Philip Wigington.
You are prettier than Philip Wigington.
Worshipful Master, I am Carter Charborough, and I am humbled to assume the duties of Secretary from Brother Philip Wigington. I am touched that you would ask me to consider doing this, Worshipful Master. It was not in my plan, but I honestly believe that it is where I can perform my highest and best service for the lodge. I understand that a dependable secretary is an essential ingredient of a successful lodge, which Rosenberg definitely is. And I would simply quote Adoniram from the 8th degree of the Scottish Rite. I will assume this duty with humility, leaning more upon your own indulgence than upon my merits. Thank you, Worshipful Master.
Worshipful Master, I am John Bradley, Junior Past Master. I've been waiting on this moment for a long time, more than a year. Because you and I have been working together, learning our work for many years now. And, it not only tickles me that you're sitting there, but it's a great honor to have been working with you, and I look forward to continue working with you and for you throughout this next year. That being said, it ain't done till it's done. I have something to give you. May I approach?
Yes, sir.
So it's a little bit of a tradition, and I'm not sure if it's a proper time or not, but I'm gonna make it the proper time. We have a little lapel pin. It's just a little square. It looks just like that right there. That the Worshipful Master wears at this particular lodge. and it is passed on from one to the other. Little tradition. So I'm gonna do that now. Maybe I'll get you a shiny one next time. That looks good on you. Thank you, brother. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. I forgot to, thank one person that he come all the way from Indiana to be here for me. There's my cousin, Mike Johnson. Thank you, sir. And as what John was saying, I wanna thank John, Cody, Brother Bill, everybody that has been there for me and kept me on my toes to learn this, cause I wanted it so bad. I made it here, so now I'm just gonna continue. And I just wanna thank everybody for being here again. You wanna, yeah, get the item, sir, and then the apron.
Brother Bradley, close your eyes.
Okay. I don't have my glasses on anyway.
Beat my,
They're good enough for Worshipful Master?
Yes, sir.
Look in. Not yet. Be a fire.
that is awesome.
All right, sir, ready? Open up your eyes.
I can open them then?
Yes, sir.
Alright. Oh, look at it.
The man cave.
That looks like man cave material right there.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
All of those.
I'm gonna make him wanna go hike, but I ain't supposed to do that.
Wait till the ladies leave.
Oh, yeah. Is that real?
Oh, yeah, it's real.
This
You need help
is
loading
Fort
it,
Bend County masonry, buddy.
Woo, I like that.
Somebody's missing one now.
I've been on one of them, I've been promised one of them by two other guys, and they never have come through.
Wow.
Brother Vance said next year we're gonna get you a dachshund to pee on it.
I'll build a ramp.
But Brother Albert was the one that come across it and I helped him prepare it for you. And everybody else chipped in.
I'm speechless. Thank you all for that. That's just not the ordinary gift, and that's kind of what I like. Something different that means a lot to me. I've been in the fire service since I was 18, so I'm pushing a few years. I don't know, going on 42 or something like that. That's awesome. Tell you what, without one of these things in a fire truck, in a fire thing, a lot of things go to the ground, people get hurt, you know, that, it starts there. And, just like in masonry, it starts there. And you learn as you go up, and that actually symbolizes more than you'll ever know. I can't thank you enough. Appreciate it.
And we'd like to present you with your past master.
I like it. I don't worry if I'm gonna get one of these, I'm gonna have to make my own.
Let's see it, brother.
You finally convinced us the last 2 months of your years that you deserve one.
Thank you, brother.
You have to get me, let me get a.
Are you up to nailing
I mean, I can put my gavel with that. Did y'all see my gavel, by the way? I have to show it to you.
Why don't you grab it,
All right.
take a second, get that bit.
wise kind of fitting. Thank you, sir. So it's shaped like a fire axe. And Brother Davis made this for me. Who said being fire was not cool, didn't you?
Davis has way too much time.
I'm gonna set that, I don't know if I may have to hold it. I better do
Yeah,
this.
so, awesome, awesome, thank you.
Thank you. I don't wanna move that thing.
You ain't moving by
Help you
yourself.
move it later.
Yeah. Whew. Thank you.
Is there, anyone who would like to say anything? Now we're gonna,
What's the matter? I forgot to mention my wife.
Who?
Yeah. So I'm here by myself today, here, because my wife is actually preparing the meal for my next, journey, which will be at Morton, where I'll be installed as worship master over there. So we talked about wives and family being at home by themselves. She's there a lot, because I'm usually traveling several times back and forth from Richmond or from Patterson back over here throughout the week when I'm off, and so now she's there preparing a meal for the next semester. So other than that, I couldn't have done it without her. Thank you, sir. And thank you to all you wives and family.
is there anyone else who'd like to say anything before we close? If not, I'll ask Brother Cockroach to do those prayers.
The gavel's got a lifetime warranty, so if you get happy and break something, I'll fix it for you.
Let Cody do it, and if it survives that, you'll be good.
And don't let Cody do it.
If y'all would please bow your heads. Supreme Grand Architect, again, we assemble before you and ask your divine providence for this day and the rest of the days of this Masonic year. We thank you for blessing our lodge with a great leader, that leader being Kenny Meyer and his First Lady Janet. We ask that you give us the strength to help him, help this lodge, push this lodge forward to be what we expect in Fort Bend County, some of the best masonry in the great state of Texas. We ask that you watch over all these families as they travel home and travel afar. And in your blessings we pray. Amen.
So,